Thank you. Hi, Dave. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Saw a nice video of Kershaw arriving today. Did he get some reps? And in general, what's the plan for Kershaw this spring training?
Yeah, so he threw a pen today. I think his standard 34 pitch, he's got it pretty much down to a science. Um, Used all his pitch mix, the fastball, the breaking ball, mixing the changeup, the slider. So it was good. I think a great first day, felt good coming out of it. So to get him back in the rhythm is a good thing. I think probably if we look at today being Saturday, he'll get a couple days off and then he should have another pen on Tuesday.
That's great to hear. As you're seeing more players and pitchers these last few days, what are the skills that you're looking for as you're continuing to build out the bullpen?
Yeah, I think for us in spring training, a lot of it, guys nowadays are coming into camp ready to go. I think for us is to just make sure they get their consistent work, continue to build that foundation of strength, consistency, the throwing programs to then face hitters, to then get them in games, and then to kind of extend certain guys as far as usage. But I think right now, when you're talking about the first week, you really want to make sure that you get guys staying healthy.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Dave Vassay. Go ahead.
Dave, speaking of that, you guys don't have as many minor league pitchers in camp at the start. How are you and other teams going to navigate games with not having those guys at your disposal at the end of, these spring training games?
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly the timeline, Dave, but the first, call it 10 days, 2 weeks of games is going to be 7 innings. And if we want to play 5 or 6 innings, we can, as long as we let the league know the day prior. There's an opportunity to potentially to roll innings, as in if a pitcher reaches that 20 pitch threshold and you want to kind of cut the inning off to then change sides, we can do that. And I think that gives essentially a starting pitcher, if he wanted to go, a couple innings, to then roll it to get him back out there to start another inning. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So that kind of helps right there.
Do you and whoever you're playing against, that manager, do you have to agree upon that before the game or the night before?
The innings that we're going to play, whether it's 5, 6, or 7, in the beginning part is agreed upon. But as far as taking your pitcher out, you feel that 20 is enough for that inning. That's each manager's discretion.
Okay, and as far as just the dynamics of rules in the game, it seems like when they say there's no universal DH in the National League, sometimes it feels like there's a question mark at the end of that sentence still. Is there a question mark still, or do you believe that's not going to change?
I don't think that's going to change. I think we're going to get through this year with the DH just in the American League.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question is from Juan Toribio. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Doing well, Juan.
Just some housekeeping things for me. Is there anything new on Tabor?
No. Right now, as I understand it, he's still trying to work through the visa situation.
And when he returns, does he have to quarantine? How does that kind of work?
Yeah. Once he gets here with us, he'll have to do some intake testing and quarantine as well before we can kind of get him in the clubhouse.
Okay. Is there anything new on White and Joe? Are they throwing at all, or still kind of?
No. I think both guys right now are just trying to doing some arm care stuff, but not throwing a baseball.
So still no timeline on them?
No timeline right now.
Thank you.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, some news surfaced yesterday about the possibility of you guys having fans for opening day and maybe down the line having a packed stadium. Just what was your reaction to that?
Well, the more, the better. I don't know. Having any fans considering what we had last year is a win. But for me, as many fans we can have that's safe and that makes sense will be welcome, I'm sure.
I know with Brandon Morrow, obviously you're very familiar with him. How's he look the first couple of days here? And is it just helpful to have a guy you've been familiar with and knows how things are with the organization?
Yeah, I mean, BMO obviously very familiar with him, what he can do in a big spot, the dependability. And now he's healthy. So he threw yesterday. So we'll see him on Monday, throw another pen. But right now, it was a great first day for him as far as the pen and everything I hear from the training room, from Brandon himself. He feels good and he's excited to be back in a Dodger uniform.
When you're kind of on a whiteboard or whatever you have in your office and kind of going through your roster, how many spots you think are realistically open in that bullpen?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to kind of say with any a lot of real conviction, because I think that we still have close to 6 weeks left. So I just don't feel it's beneficial to kind of lock guys in right now. So right now we have a lot of viable, capable arms.
And I don't think we've asked you, but down in San Diego, they signed a guy to a 14-year contract. I guess when you first saw that, what was your reaction to a 14-year deal?
I thought it was great for baseball. Obviously, it's a huge commitment by the Padres, and the recipient who's earned it is Tatis, and so to see the economics of a team like the Padres invest that kind of money in a player, I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from JP Hornstra. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. With respect to the shortened games at the beginning, the 5, 6, 7 inning, the game length, what sort of goes into that? Like, do you have a sense right now as we stand here today how long you would ideally want those early games to be?
Yeah, I think that Mark Price has done a really good job of sort of mapping it out. But I think that where we're at, kind of the climate, I think it's great because not even just the injuries on the field, but the potential, getting COVID, getting the virus, which we just don't know. Each day we'll find out what we have. So to give teams an option to shorten it if we can, and not put pitchers in harm's way, I think is great for all of us. Like I said, I don't know how long this is going to last, but for me right now, just giving us the option to go short if we need to is certainly helpful.
And, with all of the things that are different this year compared to a normal camp, this general question, I'll let you take it where you want, but like, how much does this feel like the second or third day of spring training compared to a typical year for you so far?
It does feel like it. I think that, the one part that you look forward to when you go to spring training is seeing the fans. So that interaction is not there. But when you're talking about having guys doing their work, getting acquainted with one another, with coaches, staff, players, that's all the same. But missing that energy and the fan interaction is certainly a big void.
Thank you.
Next question is from Claudia Guestro. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Hi, Claudia.
So how was Julio Diaz and Victor Gonzalez bullpen session? Did you notice any rust in their pitches or just what's expected going into this spring training?
Well, they both came into camp in great shape, very determined, and their bullpens echoed that or reflected that. They were both very professional, really good. So they're right on track to help us again. So I couldn't be more pleased.
Thank you.
We got time for one more. Go ahead, Ron.
Sorry about that. Dave, just kind of out of the box thinking here. With the structure change with the minor leagues, is it still going to be the Dodgers' plan to do rehabbing at Rancho Cucamonga?
Yeah. So last year we used USC as sort of a satellite kind of site, but obviously those guys are playing games. So as I understand it, we're going to use that Rancho Cucamonga site. So as we break camp, the minor league players that'll stay back will be here. We'll have some other guys come and they'll, start their camp essentially, early April. And then once the season starts, I do think that a combo of Camelback Ranch and Rancho is in play.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.